Tiago, I set it up.
What?
I set it up. I got at 142 degrees at 9 o'clock. Let's see what happens tomorrow at 9.
Okay. Should be all right.
I don't want to cook it anymore.
What do we have to ask him? Parrots, is it worse?
We have to ask about the grill pans.
Yeah. Parrots,
What about?
is grilling a steak on a barbecue grill, and grilling it on a what do you call it? What's the name of the pan?
On a frying pan. On a frying pan.
Cast iron grill pan. Going to give you the same results.
No.
No, that wasn't the question. Was is it going to be of lesser quality?
What?
Is it going to be of lesser quality on the grill pan?
It's a different, not a lesser quality. It's a different geschäft. No. Fried chicken, baked chicken.
No, it's meant to taste like a barbecue, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, to me and you won't, but the parents will know the difference. Me and you, a guy like me and you won't.
No, it's a different concept. The cast iron concepts, it's like searing it really hot. It kind of sears it in. It tries to encrust everything.
And what about a grill pan that's not cast iron?
Not a grill pan. Talk about a grill. A grill pan is also like frying it. There's a difference in a frying pan.
Dirty hands.
Meaning the juice doesn't get to.
Ouch.
Would you feel that you were getting shortchanged if you had a steak from a cast iron pan?
Shortchanged? No. Depends on the steak.
Cast iron pan makes great steaks, actually.
Question is on Yom Tif, if instead of putting out, when you put it on coals, so the dripping meat puts out the coals. So would it be better to just grill on a grill pan and then you don't have that issue?
Whoops, that's nice.
Isn't that how they cooked meat back then? When the Gemara talks about it?
Yeah, but we're wondering if there's another option so that there's less.
It doesn't put out the coals. Yeah, it doesn't put out the coals. It flares. The fat, as it drips on the hot coal, flares up. It's
right, but that makes it go out. That's extinguishing. The Gemara says that's extinguishing.
More fire, not less fire.
No, it's going to put something up.
You're talking about the rush? They make a fire burn hotter, makes it go out faster?
No, just talking about straight the Gemara. The Gemara says that you're extinguishing on Yom Tif by making a barbecue. The Gemara says it's not a problem. That's all. Okay, let's go. We're doing barbecuing tonight too, just not for Hashem's barbecuing, meaning for the Mizbeach. Yeah. So Amar Rabbi Loza, second line down, Daf Mem Vav Amar Aleph. What time tomorrow? We're doing more. I guess we're gonna do more than a block tonight. This is a short block, so we'll do more than a block so that tomorrow doesn't have to be as long. What time is early Shabbos tomorrow? Where's all the early Shabbos people?
You have a whole variety, Tiago.
That's the problem.
I'm talking about the 6:20, probably like 6:25, right?
Checking plug right now. Plug is 6:43.
Plug is 6:43, so late?
But it says here 6:43. Anyone have a different one? I know there's like 18 of them, right? But I have 6:43 on my phone.
All right. Okay, so we'll learn 10 to 6. 10 to 6, 5:50, yeah?
Anyone?
Oh, and I'll let you use 5:50. 5:51. 5:51.
Anyone have an issue? Let's see how many people are on. Anyone have an issue with that?
Caught my joke.
Okay.
I got it.
I got it.
Very good. Very good.
That's for me.
Jesse, what time is Mincha by you tomorrow?
Even the out-of-towners
I'm going
got
to Massachusetts. Memphis,
Okay,
wherever
good.
I go.
I got it. Jesse's on there.
He's on there. All right.
Okay, so let's see. Second line down.
I'll be just as impressed if we start at 5:51.
There you go. it's not reliable, which I tell you, 550 is just not reliable. Okay, anyway. So Amar Rav Elazar, Amar Rav Elazar Meshum Bar Kapora. Yes, Rav Elazar said in the name of Bar Kapora. Amar Hayer Rav Meir. So Rav Meir had said, right? We had said yesterday, Rav Meir's shita was that there's an extra fire on top of the Mizbeach in order to burn the leftovers, the leftover meats and bones and all that. So Ivari Oilo, Shanitais with the Ivarim of the oil that are left over, Oisel and Marok of Neatzma, the Sidron. Right? So you make its own fire and you misader all the meats that you're going to be burning on there, but filu b'Shabbos. And you're even allowed to do it on Shabbos. Okay, so my kamashmula, what's Bar Kapara teaching us? Tanina b'chol yom hayusham arba marochas. We learned that every day there's 4 marochas there. And one of those 4 fires is for the leftover kachim that couldn't be burned the night before because it wasn't one of them is bad. So what's Bar Kapara teaching us? No, it's coming to tell us that for psulin, that even animal and even pieces of meat that became passul, right? You don't if they were put up, you're not supposed to bring them up onto the Mizbeach, but if you did bring them up onto the Mizbeach, then you still put them onto the extra fire. So that's a chiddush. Even stuff that's passul, as long as it's brought on top of the Mizbeach. The dafka shem mashal behen ha'or, but that's only if the fire, literally the translation is the fire ruled over it. Meaning, it only becomes kachim that are passul that got burnt on the Mizbeach. That's when the fire, it was burnt a little bit from not a little bit, but it had to have gone into the fire. But if the fire didn't go on it, then you don't put it onto that fourth.
So what do you do with
file?
what do you do with
put it
ksherim?
into the regular one.
And psulim you take off?
I thought that you put it back.
If loy mashal ben ha'ayr, so ksherim you put in the regular one, the fire, psulim you take off. They have different dinim, correct?
Yeah. Right, so the ones that are burnt a little bit go onto this special fire. But if it doesn't have, the ones that don't get burnt will go onto the regular marocha. As far as I know, that's what I understand it. Igadamri, so some say, echad ksherin ve'echad psulin, whether it's kosher, whether it's passul, imashlu behen ha'or in. If the fire ruled over it, meaning the fire already burned it, then you put it onto the special, the fourth area on top of the mizbeach that heats up, that you burn the food. But if it didn't, there's no fire on it, then you don't do anything with it, and you put it you don't make it in the new fire, you put it onto the regular main fire. Fine. What you say? Somebody say something?
What you gonna
okay. Bafilu b'Shabbos, and the Gemara says, and even on Shabbos you do this. So that also we learned. We learned that for Hayyim, Chomesh, on Yom Kippur you have 5 fires, right? So Yom Kippur has an extra fire. We know that Yom Kippur is the same as Shabbos b'Negeya to making fire, right? You're not allowed to cook on Yom Kippur. Like it's like Shabbos, not like Yom Tov. So if we're saying that on Yom Kippur there's a 5th fire on the Mizbeach in order to burn a Varim and Pedarim, so then that means on Shabbos it's also. So what do you have to tell us? Right? Yeah. So Rav Bar Yaakov, Itzrich, we need it because we need to teach Shabbos. Maybe that's only when are we going to burn the kachim on Yom Kippur? That's when Yom Kippur falls out right after Shabbos, meaning Yom Kippur is on a Sunday. So the Chelbe Shabbos craving the Yom Kippur because we know that the leftover meats from the korbanos of Shabbos you can bring on Yom Kippur. Ava be'emtza Shabbos, loy, but if it's stam, if Yom Kippur falls out during the week, then maybe there you don't burn korbanos from Erev Yom Kippur, right? Kamash Malon know that on Yom Kippur, Bar Kapara is telling us that Shabbos, Yom Kippur, whatever it is, we will put the meats on top of the fire, even though you're really not be'etzem, it's a chil of Shabbos, right? You're burning things on Shabbos, and it's not karbanos of Shabbos, it's called karbanos of Erev Shabbos. So Bar Kapara is telling you still do that. Fine. So Amar Rava, so Rava said, and this is one of the more strong lines that we see in Shas, Man hai deloy chayish l'kimche. Who is this? That's not chayshish for his grinding. Right? So what does this mean? We actually had this once before. Yeah, meaning he grinds things and he doesn't even look to what he's saying. Meaning basically he's saying, why doesn't he think before he talks? That's essentially what that line means. Man hai deloy chayish l'kimche. Who is this person that's not chayshish for his grinding? Meaning for what he grinds
I made it into the Gemara. Look at that.
Why is that?
Which I don't think before I talk usually.
Oh. All right. Okay. Most of the time. How's that?
Reb Aaron, we passed the sugyas of Vidui already.
Of which? Of Vidui?
Vidui. Anyways, okay, very good. So, this person is not being chayshish for his wheat. It says bechol yom, right? Meaning there were four places to put the karbanos every day, right? That's on Shabbos too. So then what is bar kapara? What do you need bar kapara for? So kasha, so that's a kasha. Fine. Upliga Rav Huna, and he disagrees with Rav Huna. Rav Huna holds that the tchila is daicha, meaning the korban tamei that is the korban tamei that's brought on Shabbos is daicha, right? So, but saifai ain't daicha, but the end of the korban tamei is not daicha, meaning the korban tamei, to burn the korban tamei on Shabbos is allowed because that's the beginning of the korban tamei that takes place on Shabbos. But what about the korban tamei of Friday? The Friday, right? We had a tamei. We bring a korban tamei in the morning and in the afternoon. Can you burn the korban tamei from the afternoon on Friday night? So he says, "Saifai ain't daicha." The end is not daicha. According to Rav Huna, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to burn the Friday one on Friday night. Yeah, fine. So which means he disagrees with Rava and Bar Kapara, who say that it is daicha Shabbos. Now the Gemara is going to discuss that. So gufa. Yeah, Amar Rav Huna, tamid tchilasai daicha saifai ain't daicha. The korban tamid, the beginning is daicha Shabbos. Saifai ain't daicha. It's not daicha. My ain't daicha. So what does it mean it's not daicha? Yeah, so Rav Chisda Amar daicha is a Shabbos, ain't daicha is a tumah. What it's saying is that it's daicha Shabbos. Yeah, meaning on the korban tamei is from Shabbos afternoon is daicha, on Shabbos morning is daicha Shabbos. But ain't daicha is a tumah. But if there's tumah, then it's not daicha. The korban tamei, you will not bring the korban tamei if it's tumah. Rava Amar, and Rava says, or Rabba, some say it's Rava, daicha is a tumah. He says the opposite. It's daicha tumah, meaning if it's tamei, we're gonna bring it anyways. Ve'ena daicha is a Shabbos, but it's not gonna be daicha Shabbos. Meaning the Friday korban, the korban tamei of Friday is not gonna be daicha Shabbos, and we're not gonna bring it on Friday night. Right? So basically, Rav Chisda is saying that Shabbos is more makel than tumah, and Rava is saying that tumah is more makel than Shabbos. So fine. So Amalei by the Rava or the Rava, Lididach kasha or Rav Chisda kasha. We have a kasha according to you. We have a kasha according to Rav Chisda. Lididach kasha, because according to you, we have a kasha. Ma'ishna tumah. Why is tumah different? Right? By tumah, it says that you have to bring the korban tamei in its proper time. Right? So that proper time means you bring it in its proper time, whether you're tamei, whether you're tar. Shabbos nami b'mayadai, and Shabbos it says also b'mayadai b'afilu b'Shabbos. So therefore, that's a kasha because you said that Rav Chisda had said that it's not daicha tumah. Clearly, the pasuk is saying that it is daicha tumah. Rav Chisda kasha, and Rav Chisda has the same kasha. Ma'ishna Shabbos tefsid b'mayadai b'afilu b'Shabbos. Why does Rav Chisda say that Shabbos use daicha the korban tamei? Because it says v'mayadai in its time, afilu b'Shabbos, and it means even Shabbos. Tumah nami b'maya dai afilu b'tumah. So tumah also says the word b'maya dai, which means even in tumah. So Amarlei loy di kasha v'loy Rav Chisda kasha. He says no, there's no kasha to me, and there's no kasha to Rav Chisda. The kasha saifay kitchilasa. Says I'm saying it's no kasha because the end of the Tamid is just like at the beginning of the Tamid on Tamid base, right? Tumah ditchilasai. Oh, Naftali's excited about it. Yes, the
I
tumah.
didn't see that before.
Yeah.
Nice surprise.
Yeah, but you said you're going to the next one.
Yeah, well, that's to take off from tomorrow. So whatever.
So I'm saying so that he's not shouldn't be so excited now.
Yeah, but then tomorrow it's excited.
Only
No,
only
it's all
one
right.
should
No, it's all right.
be only
No, he really
only
didn't say he was
parents should be
excited.
only parents should be so excited for the Amud Beis. That's it.
Well,
I have to get up now and get the bottle.
Well, it's a rough life, parents. Yeah, it's rough.
no,
Here I
Naftali
said
really.
it's time to relax and stop drinking. It's too much already. Nope.
None of the boys are home to get up.
No, they're all, I don't know where they are. They're all religious.
What Naftali said he was saying is that he really wants to do the Tysons. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so tumah the tchilasai bar mitcha. So tumah, right? So meaning the tumah is where the tamid is daich the tumah to seifenami dachi. So the end of it is also going to be tamid. So therefore, burning the tumah, meaning we know that you bring the korban tamid when it's tamid, right? So if you bring the korban tamid meaning you shecht it and you makriv it, not makriv, you shecht it when there's tumah. So then for sure you're going to burn it when it's tamid, right? So Shabbos, the tchilasei lav bar mitcha, lav mitcha Shabbos, but Shabbos, when you shech the tamid on Friday, you're not supposed to, you don't bring it according to him, you don't bring it on Friday night. So Saifenami le'nitchi, meaning so then the burning of, I'm sorry, I just messed it up. Shabbos, the korban tamid, let's say for whatever reason you mess up and you don't bring it till Shabbos starts, right? Whatever wasn't brought, so you don't bring the korban tamid, right? So if the beginning is not doich Shabbos, so the end of it, which is the burning of the korbanos, it's also not doich.
This is the Friday tamid that you messed up on. The Friday afternoon tamid.
Yes, the Friday tamid, right? Yeah.
So then the question: do you bring it on Shabbos?
Yeah. You like Rashi says, you brought it bein arbayim. You brought it too late, right? So if you brought it too late, it's not doich Shabbos. So if the tchila, meaning the shechting of the korban tamid is not doich Shabbos, so he's saying,
but the Shabbos one is doich Shabbos.
So the burning is not going to be doich Shabbos, right? That's the way he learns.
The Shabbos one is doich Shabbos, right?
The Shabbos one is doich Shabbos, yeah. But the Friday one,
Friday one has a separate din.
Friday one is not. Yeah. So so he's saying that by tumah, if there was tumah, then you have to bring the korban tamid. That's the tchilasoi. So if you bring the korban tamid when it's tamei, so then even if the meats become tamei later, you also bring you'll burn it even though it's tumah. But Shabbos, that if for whatever reason the Friday afternoon korban tamid waited till after Shkia, so you're not allowed to be makriv, you're not allowed to shecht it, it's not going to be good. So Kol Shekain, that the end of it is not going to be good. That's the way Rava/Rava learns it. Rav Chisda like kasha, and there's no steer by Rav Chisda. Saifai kitchilasai, less late. He doesn't hold of this whole saifai kitchilasai. That saifai again, like we just said, saifai means the burning of the fats, and tchilasai is the shechting. So he says he doesn't hold that the end has to be aligned with the beginning. Shabbos, the Hutra he betzibur. So Shabbos, which is mutter with betzibur, right? Saifai nami dachi. Shabbos is Hutra, right? What we remember, we have that it's this age-old Machlokes, not age-old, but in Machlokes throughout Shas. If something when the Torah allows something, is that Hutra or dichuyah? Hutra means, right, this is the Hatzalah, guys. Landau's not on. Right? This is the regular Hatzalah issue. Is Shabbos when Pikuach Nefesh? Is it Hutra or dichuyah?
Didn't we have the whole cigarette
Yeah, we have it a lot. Yeah,
didn't we have like 2 weeks ago?
in the morning.
In the morning?
Yeah. So Hutra, if something is Hutra, that means that it's totally allowed, right? And if it's dichuyah means it's really not allowed, but we have to allow it. So therefore, you have to try and do whatever you can to get out of it. So Shabbos is Hutra, right? It's Hutra b'tzibur, right? We know that you bring the korbanos tzibur on Shabbos, right? What's the problem, Gersh? Right? Shabbos is Hutra b'tzibur. You bring the korban tamei, you bring the korban musaf, right? It's Hutra b'tzibur, right?
I don't think it means you're really not allowed.
What do you mean?
I mean, I think it means that Shabbos is a factor, and whenever, that's a very close second, like in a horse race, and whenever delay will not affect anything, then Shabbos
You're talking
jumps
about a
in
pikuach
again. Whereas
nefesh.
Hutra means, I believe it means, I could be wrong, that it means there is no Shabbos right now with this at all.
Right. So when you're in a pikuach nefesh situation, so Shabbos is Hutra. Right?
Well, not if you can delay, not if you can call a Uber instead of not if a
but
guy's
that's not-
driving
that's
by,
not
you
a-
can
that's
take it.
not in an- No, but in an
That's
imminent.
dichuyah. That's dichuyah.
Right. No. So Shabbos is dichuyah. But it's dichuyah, right? If Hatzalah guy is driving backwards,
Ashkenazim, it is.
Yeah.
You-
But for
You're talking
korbanos,
about two different things.
yeah.
That never stopped me before.
So for korbanos,
The korbanos on Shabbos are not dichuyah, the Hutra. There's no issa to bring the korbanos.
no, he's
on
agreeing to that.
Shabbos.
Yeah, he's agreeing to that. He was talking about my mushal of whether for Hatzalah guys Shabbos is Hutra or dichuyah. Right.
Depends
So
which
that's
Hatzalah guys you're talking about.
That's right. That's a different issue right there. Right. Okay. But anyway, so what he's saying is Shabbos is Hutra hi b'tzibur, right? The korban tamei, korban musaf, it's Hutra. There's no problem. There's no trying to get around it. You shech the korbanos on Shabbos, even though that's Chil Shabbos, right? So soifai nami dachi. So the end, meaning the burning of the fats, is also going to be dachi, because the whole thing is Hutra. But tumah dichuyah hi b'tzibur. Tumah is dichuyah, meaning tumah. We don't just say, "Oh, everybody, you're Tamei, okay, so then just bring the korbanos." No, we try our hardest to push it off and not be makarit in tumah. So tchilasai the ikar kapara dachi. So the tchila, the ikar kapara of the korban tamid is the shchita. So that's daiche. Saifai the lav ikar kapara loy dachi. But the end, that's not the ikar kapara. That's not daiche, because it's not you don't need the meat. You don't need to burn the fats and all that as a kapara. So that's the Machlokes. Bottom line is Machlokes Rava against Rav Chisda, whether tumah is dichuyah, meaning the burning of the fats of a Tamei korban tamid, and whether the burning of the fats of Friday's korban tamid are dichuyah Shabbos or not. That's a Machlokes Rava, and Rav Chisda. Fine. Itmar. Now we have a new Gemara. Itmar. We learned Hamachabe Eish Machta Umenaira. If you extinguish the fire of the shovel that they took the coals for the ketores, or the menorah, right? If you put it out, yeah. Abaya Omar Chayev. Abaya says it's Chayev. Rava Omar Potter, and Rava says you're Potter for putting it out. So now, what is this talking about? So what's the machlokes? The kfiyah b'rosh Mizbeach. If you put it out when you were on top of the Mizbeach, meaning the kohen took it off of the fireplace on top of the Mizbeach and he put it out. The kuliyam loy pligi the chayev. Everybody holds he's going to be chayev because that's mamash on top of the Mizbeach. He put out fire from on top of the Mizbeach. Ki pligi the achsei ha'ara v'kavya. Where the machlokes is where he brought the coal down to the ground off the Mizbeach and there he put it out. Abaya Omar Chayev. Abaya says he's Chayev Eisha Mizbeachu. It's still considered fire from the Mizbeach, and you're not allowed to put out fire from the Mizbeach. Rava Amar Potter Kivan the Naska. He says since you took it off the Mizbeach, so then it's off the Mizbeach. It's not considered Eisha al Mizbeach. Not too good, but it's what's the pasuk? I don't know.
This has nothing to do with Shabbos.
Nothing to do with Shabbos. No, this has to do with the Isser of putting out. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, I should have pointed that out. It's not about Shabbos. This is putting out coals from on top of the Mizbeach. So again, so right now the Gemara is saying that everybody, if you put it out on top of the Mizbeach, everybody holds that you're chayiv. Machlokes is where you took the coal off the Mizbeach, put it onto the floor. So Abaye says you chayiv because it's still fire from the Mizbeach. Rava says you potter because since it went off the Mizbeach, it no longer has a din of fire from the Mizbeach. Saying what I asked, somebody who takes a coal off the top of the Mizbeach and he puts it out, he's chayiv. Kiman, who is that like? Is that like Abaye? Right? Now the question with this is how can you say that it's like Abaye? We don't paskin like Abaye. Right? That means he's going like Abaye, but we know that when there's a machlokes, Abaye and Rava, the machlokes, the din is like Rava, except by Yalkigam, right? Which is those cases, specific cases, we pass on like Abaye. So how could it be that he passed on like Abaye? So one answer is
according to that.
What are you saying?
Excuse me. According to that, so a kohen could put out the whole mizbeach and be potter.
If he takes it off.
He carries it downstairs and he puts it out downstairs.
According to that,
then the Mizbeach has no fire, but he's potter.
According to Rava, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, according to Rava, he'd be potter. Still usher, but it's potter, right? So then we're asking. So now this it seems like Rav Nachman, the Shem Rav Baravu was going like Abaye. So how could that be? So my answer is no. Afilu temik Rava hasam loy intek lemitzvasa. There, it wasn't taken off. For its mitzvah, right? So meaning if it's not taken off, it wasn't taken off for any specific reason, right? So since it wasn't taken off for a good reason, for what it was necessary for, so it's considered still like Eish from the Mizbeach. But Rava here is talking about intikul mitzvah. So he took it off for the mitzvah. He put it off to Rashi says to put it into the shovel, right? So once you put it onto the shovel, it no longer has the status of Eish on the Mizbeach. Now it has the status of Eish on the shovel, right? And therefore, it's not gonna, or the menorah, and therefore it doesn't have a din of Mizbeach anymore, and therefore you're gonna be potter. But Igadavri, there are those that say the Achse Ara Bekavya, if you put it down onto the ground, the Kuli Alma like the potter, then everybody's gonna hold. Saya Baya, Sai Rava, they're both gonna hold. If you put the coal off the Mizbeach and put it on the ground, you're going to be potter. Kipligi, when's the Machlokes? The Kavi Barosh Mizbeach. It's the Machlokes where you put it out on top of the Mizbeach. Abaye Omer Chayiv Eisha Mizbeach. Abaye says it's Chayiv, it's fire on top of the Mizbeach. How can you not be Chayiv? Rava Omer Potter. Rava says Potter. Kiven the Naska. Since you took it off the place on the Mizbeach where there was fire, so once you took it off of there, it no longer has a din Mizbeach, even though you're on top of the Mizbeach. But it's not in the place that it's supposed to be on the Mizbeach, so therefore it's you're going to be potter. So Gemara asks, as somebody takes the coal off the Mizbeach, is chayiv. Come on, like Abaye, like a Rava. According to this version of the Gemara, when Rav Nachman says the shame Rav Baravua that if somebody takes a coal off the Mizbeach and puts it out, that he's chayiv, that's like nobody. Right? We said according to everybody, if you take it off the Mizbeach and put it onto the floor, that you're potter. So my answer is Hasam loy integral mitzvah. So there it was not, when Rav Nachman was saying that you're chayiv, it was not removed for any sort of mitzvah. It was just taken down. So Mamela, it still has the status of being on top of the Mizbeach. Hacha integral mitzvah. But here it was taken off for the mitzvah. So once it's taken off for a mitzvah, either for the menorah or for the ketairos, then it loses its status of being on the Mizbeach, and therefore if you put it out, you're going to be potter. Hadran Allah Taraf Kilpi. Yeah, l'chaim to all those that make.
Mazel tov.
I know.
You
it's the next volume.
You need the next volume. I had to get up.
I had it in my car ready for tomorrow. I went to my car to get it.
Oh, very good. Okay, the Olam has the next volume. For those that use the next volume, the Olam has the next volume.
You have a human here?
You have a human here. Right here. It's not a hard Gemara, this summer. This summer is not a hard Gemara, but we do get into the shaitel issue. So, so it's kedai to do it tonight as opposed to tomorrow, so we can hack around it, hack about it tonight as opposed to tomorrow. Right? Again, I'm sorry.
I'm having trouble keeping up, man.
But Yaakov, I love your tweet the other day.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm getting into
What is the
some
first
trouble.
time you tweeted something
Getting
like
into
that?
some trouble with some
You
of these
tweeted that
tweets.
before.
No,
Yeah,
can
yeah,
I ask a
I
question
do that.
before we get into it? What kind of
Yaakov, I heard
craziness? Why are they
Bike for Chai
focusing?
is suing you.
Bike for Kai, very good.
What do you say about what?
Yeah, what do you want to say, Michael?
I don't get that.
Why are they focusing on this thing? I never heard of such a thing. I saw
What,
in the
the-
magazine
What, the wigs?
with the lacing. Why are they making
I
a whole?
don't know. Ich weiß nicht.
Are
Ich
they
weiß
so
nicht.
bored? I mean, I don't get it.
I don't know.
Michael, when did you read the magazine? On Shabbos or during the week?
I can't tell you. I can tell you where. I can tell you when I read it, but I can't tell you where I read it.
Ah.
Why are you laughing, Mr. Kaplan?
I read it the same place.
You were in my house?
I'm in the oven, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll get to it at the end of.
Jacob, the best line was, hand down, the best line was, if you're looking long enough to tell if it's a lace top shape, though, you have a bigger problem.
That's what I was saying. That was the best tweet ever.
The best line ever.
You should send that to all the magazines.
From what I know, these things go so viral that they must saw it.
That tweet is more viral than the distributions of the magazines, Mike.
Thank you, the Flappers girl.
Yeah. Tell you. No, somebody just left me a voice message that a guy's passing it around on Lakewood and he's looking to make trouble. So I don't know. I said, well, how am I supposed to stop
They want to know what the makar is for that. You saw somebody
Make trouble with what? With that line? You're right.
We'll get to the shakels in the soon. We'll get to it in a minute. Oilam has their new Gemaras.
The Chayrim notices are coming shortly.
Naftali, take a picture in your bike outfit and tell them you're Rav Yaakov's Gabba.
Anyway.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, so let's see. Yes, Zog the new parak, yeah? So now we just continue. It's interesting that it's a new parak because it's just a continuation of the Yom Kippur Avodah, right? So I don't know why they made it into a new parak. But okay, so they bring him out, they bring the Kohen Gadol
The
out.
Art Scroll needed a new volume.
I hear. All right. So so they brought out for him the spoon and the shovel. So what he did is he took a malay chafna means a handful of the ketores, and he puts it into the spoon. Right, so it's interesting. This is a subjective measurement. There's no minimum measurement. The size of the kohen, if he has a big hand, then it's a big hand. Then it's a big shear. If he has a small hand, then it's a small shear. And that was the measurement. Meaning, there's no specific measurement. It's totally in his size. Right? Not it's like the Malay Lugma was also telling the size and amount. Yeah, what are you saying, Rava?
This is just wild. This is for Yom HaKadosh, right? That he's putting in this the tires.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and it doesn't have a 3.1, a 3.5, a Chazonish 5.7. No, whatever the kind of size is. That
right.
the most important thing, what we think is most important avoid of the year. Oh,
yeah. So there's no measurement.
No pamphlets, no pictures.
Right. Like, yeah.
Is it a halacha that a kohen gadol has to be gadol b'kaima?
Is it halal? I mean, Sanhedrin has to be.
I think
yeah, but that don't mean his hand is bigger than anybody else's hand.
Oh, there's a good chance that he's
very good, Dave.
Even small hands on a tall man is probably around average. So it could be that the shear is smaller.
Evidently, didn't watch any of Trump's debates, evidently. So that's good.
Rabarin, you stole my line. You stole my line.
That's how you could palm the basketball. Rabarin, you could palm the basketball. That's how you check it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Very good. So anyway, so not the machta. The yamina is a kaf the spoiler. So he takes the machta in his right hand. Right, the shovel of the coals in his right hand, and the spoon goes in his left hand. Okay, so the Gemara, Machta Tonale, right? We're by the Machta, we already learned it, right? Not the Machta, but all of the Rosh Mizbeach, he takes the shovel and he goes up to the Mizbeach and he digs into the coals and he comes down from the Mizbeach. So why are we bringing him another machta? What's the pshat, right? The Mishnah says they bring him a machta. All right, what do you need the machta for? He already has the machta in his hand. So Rashi says, no, Hassam, right? In the previous parak, in the last Mishnah, was the last Mishnah, right? I think so, right? Hassam machta de gacholam. There, it was the shovel for the coals. Here, it's a shovel for the ketairos. Right? Meaning it's a shovel full of ketairos. The Tanya hatziu like kaf reikon. Right? They bring out an empty spoon, milishkas akelim, from the room that had all the kelim. Umachta gedusha sheketairos milishkas beisaftinas, and you bring out a large shovel's worth of ketairos from the lishkas beisaftinas. Right? Those are the ones that made the ketairos. Fine. Chofan maloi chofnov. So he takes a big handful. Right? It's all subjective. Big kayin, small kayin, goes with the size of the hand. So kaf b'yom kippurim lomali. Why do you need a spoon for? Right? So maloi chofna v'hevi amar Rachmana. The Torah says you take a handful. So why do you need a spoon? Meaning, why can't he just carry a handful of ketairos into the kodesh hakadoshim? Right? Why does he need to put it onto a spoon for? Right? Meaning, why do you need the spoon? The Gemara is asking. Why is the spoon necessary? It just says maloi chofnov, right? Behavi. So the Gemara answers. So mishum deloi efshar, because it's not possible for him. How's he going to do it with a handful? The hechi never. How's he going to bring in the shovel of the coals and the ketairos in his hand? Nile b'hodar Nile. If he's going to go in and bring the coals and then come back and bring the ketairos, the Torah says you go in, he brings in. It only says he goes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim once, not twice. I mean, he goes in again to get it out, but only twice when he's bringing things in. He's only supposed to go in once, not twice. So that doesn't work. Nishkalei look at Torah's b'chayfnov. What should he take the ketairos in his hands, and then how's he in his hand, and how's he carrying the shovel? Right, Allah, and he should put the shovel of coals on top of it, the leil, and go in. So then what? Kimoti hasam hechi never. So now he's in the kodesh hakadoshim. He's got a handful of coals. A handful of ketairos, right? And then he has a shovel full of coals. Now he's standing kodesh hakadoshim. What's he going to do? Right? Nishkalei b'shineh v'nachte lamachta. So what's he going to do? Hold on to the shovel in his teeth, right? And put it down on the ground. So then he could put the ketairos on it. That's not going to work. Hashta l'fnei melech basar v'damei noisikain. You wouldn't ever put something into your teeth in front of a human king. L'fnei melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu alachas kam v'kam. In front of Hashem, for sure, you're not going to put it in your teeth. Hilkoch lo yafshar. Therefore, it's not possible for him to bring it in with his hands. Since it's not possible, so he has to do it like we did in last week's parsha with the way the Nesiim did it. Right? Yeah.
Doesn't he end up carrying the shovel under his armpit?
Yeah, but the shovel.
So who goes into Queen Elizabeth carrying something under their armpit? What? If the Gemara is using this as a mashal, what kind of thing is that?
It's you go into Queen Elizabeth carrying a sword because that's what a knight does and such. So this is the avoda. That's their tool.
It would look a little different carrying it in your
excuse
teeth.
me, Yeshua. The Gemara just said you don't do this in front of a physical king. So how you do it in front of?
Yeah, but carrying in your teeth is a little bit extreme. Under your shoulder, arm is okay. Yeah, it's doable. It's logical. Okay. Your hands are busy, but in the teeth is come on. It's like in the circus, they do on the teeth. They carry things in the teeth.
Fine.
So to put it into the teeth, right, would be a more abnormal thing.
It's out of the box, totally.
Right, but again, I just want to just repeat the Gemara just to make sense of it. So he takes his two hands and he picks it up like kids playing sand. So he takes his two hands, right, and he fills it up with ketairos. Now he's got two hands full. How's he getting the coals and the hands into the kodesh hakadoshim, right? So what you say to Eitz is he put the shovel of the coals on top. Then he gets to the kodesh hakadoshim. What's he going to do? He's got to put down the coals. So what is he gonna put into his teeth? That doesn't work. So therefore, they gave him a shovel. So now he was able to take the two handfuls, the whole, the palm full of ketores. He puts it into the shovel. Then he has one hand the shovel, one hand the spoon, one hand the shovel, goes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, puts it down, and then that's it. Fine. So Gemara says, he takes the shovel in his right hand and the spoon in his left hand. So Gemara says it's a mashal here. Yatziva ba'ara v'giyara b'shmei Shemaya. The Yatziva, I thought we had this before. I don't remember where. But it is Yatziva ba'ara means that the regular person is on the ground. The giyura b'shmei Shemaya, and the ger is higher than that. Meaning, what's more important, the ketores or the coals? So l'chayra, what the Gemara is saying is that the ketores is the one that has to be burnt. So that's the chashuv one. That should be in the right hand. The coal should be in the left hand. Why is it that we're putting the coals in the right hand and the ketores in the left hands? Yeah. So zumaruba v'zumu etes. Right. So we're saying no. The coals is a lot more, and the ketores is a lot less. It's much heavier. So kohanim are righties. So it's much easier for the kohen to carry the coals in his right hand and the ketores in his left hand. But feel was manchashnei and shavin, and even when they're both the same, meaning if he's a very large kohen, and he made his hands were so big that the ketores was just as heavy as the coals, which means that he had to have a very large hand, because from what I understand, ground up incense is going to be a whole lot lighter than coals. Right? Imagine how big his hands have to be in order for the weight of the ketores to be the same weight as a shovel full of coals. I think, right? It's going to have to be a lot, right? And even when it's like that, and we still do the coals in the right and the ketores in the left.
Was Aaron the same height as Moshe?
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. It's like the Ma'aser Rabbi Shmuel ben Kinchis. Yeah. So he was Rashi says he had huge hands. It had 3 kav. Rashi says he had 3 kav. His mother's name was Kimchis, right? Which brings us to the Sheito thing in a minute, a few minutes, right? So he had such large hands that he held 3 kav of ketores in it, right?
Is that? Are we calling her kimchis because it's flour and the ketores?
Yes, I wonder.
Ketores?
You can't make it up. You can't make it up, right? And the Amud before, right, a blot ago, who was it that said he grinds up the flour? Meaning he grinds up a pshat without thinking, right? There's got to be something to it. Anyways, Ukamai says Rabbi Shmuel ben Kimchis, who was a kohen who was very large. Zuchama. So we say one zuchama and one is hot, and the other one is cold. Yeah, fine. So Omer Allah Rabbi Shmuel ben Kimchis shahaya chayfen arba kavim b'maloi chafna. He was able to take 4 kav in both his hands. R, and he said, how come he was able to do that? Kol hanashim zardu. All the women. I'm kol hanashim zardu zared. All the women got zered. Ima ala lagag, and my mother went up to the roof. Meaning what this is that zered is like some sort of food, and the other women had regular amount, and his mother had not regular, but the regular quality, and his mother had special quality, so therefore he grew. Right? She had her Wheaties, I guess. Maybe that's she had her Wheaties, his mother. So Mamela, he grew very much. Ikad Amri. So some say that what does Zered mean? Ba'arson. It means Ba'arson. Well, I jumped the gun. I explained it before. Right? Ikad Amri Ba'arson. What Zered means is talking about food. Could the Rava Bar Yonason, the Amar Rava Yonason, Amar Rabbi Feel, Arson Yofa L'chayla. Arson, which is some sort of like grain, right, is good for a chayla, right? Because it feeds him, it keeps him, it sustains him. So that's what arson meant. That's what Zardon meant. And he said his mother had very good zardan. And some say that the zardan wasn't referring to food; it was referring to the zera that where he was born from. The Rabavo, Rami. Rabavo has the Sira Ksiv, but Tazreini Chayil Amalchama, and it says that he made him, gather up his strength for the war. Uksiv Hamazreini Chayil Amalchama, right? And then the other one says Hamazreini or Vatazreini, right? Meaning it's spelled differently. One is without an aleph, one is with an aleph. So Amar David Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what David is saying in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rebbeinu Shalom. Zerisani v'zarsuni. Right? So Zerisani means to be from the word zaira, which just throw to separate the junk from the good stuff. Right, on Shabbos you throw the chaff in the air and it separates. Right, and Zerzani, and you made me stronger. Yeah. So what it means is that the zera that he came from was like washed out. So Mamela was washed out, and they only took the zera that impregnated his mother was very, very strong zera, and Mamela, that's why he was strong. So there's two pshat in why he was strong, either because his mother ate good food, or for whatever reason, there was a good zera that separated and made him strong. So fine. So Amar Allah Rabbi Shmuel ben Kimkus, Pamacha Sipur Dvarim. This is a very interesting. One time on Yom Kippur, he had to run out to schmooze with an Arab in the shuk. So he left the Beis Hamikdash on Yom Kippur. Kohen Gadol, yes. Rabbi Shmuel ben Kimkus. He went.
He needed to score in the Yankee game, no?
So I shouldn't feel so bad when I need to break in the middle of the
Nothing comes before biking for Chai. Nothing beats biking for Chai. That's it.
What do you say about biking for Chai now?
I shouldn't feel so bad when I didn't break in the middle of the avoda.
Well, this wasn't a break. It says for some reason he had to go speak to an Arab. In the middle of Yom Kippur, he had to go speak to an Arab. Okay,
Exactly, told him, sell.
It's a pamach a sipur dvarim in Maravi echad b'shuk. The nitzat tzinaris mipiv avagadav, and a saliva went from the Arab's mouth on his clothing. So mamela he's tamei, right? We said that any saliva from goy is considered a zav, so it's tamei. The nichnas yeshev of achiv b'shimesh tachtav, and yeshev of his brother had to finish off the rest of the Yom Kippur avodah. The rasa iman.
How did he become tummy through his begadim?
Saliva. The saliva.
Not through his begadim. That makes the begadim tummy.
He wasn't wearing a mask, Gershon.
Yeah. So
wow, we got everything in tonight.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, how did it go from? We had this before. We had this a couple of times. That for some reason. It's gonna. You're right.
It goes the other way, from a person to a beggar, not from a beggar to a person.
No, we said it's a special gezerah, right? From a zav, from a guy that's considered like a zav. Okay, well, let's finish it off first, and then okay. But anyway, so v'nitzat zinar b'piv avagada, v'nichnas yishev of achiv, v'shimesh tachtav, v'rasa iman shnei kahanim gedalim b'yayim echad, and the mother got nachas. She had two sons in the kohen gadol in one day. Right, so it's like a double header of nachas. Yeah, b'shuv amru alav Rabbi Shmuel ben Kimkus, and then they said another thing about Rabbi Shmuel ben Kimkus. Pamachas yatzav sipurim adayin echad b'shuk. One time on Yom Kippur, he had to go speak to somebody else in the shuk, some sort of master. V'natzat tzinaris b'piv avagadav, and some saliva went on his clothing. V'nichnas Yosef echav v'shemesh tachtav, and his brother Yosef. When it was Mishamash on them, and the mother saw the two Kehanim Gedalim the Yom Echad. Fine. Okay, I don't know what the pshat in that story is. I should have looked it up in Dr. Corman's. I have to start utilizing it. When you use the Sefaria app, you highlight a Gemara, it just brings up all the Mefarshim. Like you just highlight whichever, like 40 Mefarshim per thing. Anyways, I got to start.
There seems to be a very short-term nachas. She ended up with two sons who couldn't do avodah. According to one, yeah.
No, once they get elevated, they always remain a Kohen Gadol status. So
Right,
she got
Yeah, but that was the problem we had. We had a Machlokes before, whether they could do any avodah, because they couldn't wear the regular Arba Begadim.
Kohen Gadol Emeritus.
Yeah, so what could they do? They can't wear a big day Kohen Gadol because
They made a lot of
Gadol.
Gershon, they made a lot of personal appearances at autograph shows. Okay.
They can
That's
only
right, they
marry
spoke.
a young girl.
They spoke. This is the former Kohen Gadol.
That's right.
Who's still with us.
Okay, so you're right. So very good. So let's see. So Tana Rabban. Yeshua Marchuk still on there? No? He's out already? Okay, well, if he's, what do you call it? Okay, too bad, because this is Taka, one of the more famous Gembaras. But anyways, Tana Rabban.
We haven't said that in a while.
I know, but this is Mamish. There's not a seminary girl that doesn't know this Gemara. All right? So Tana Rabban, Shiva Banim Hayula Lekimchis. Kimchis was the mother. She had 7 sons, the Kulan, Shimshu, Kahuna, Gedayla, and all 7 of them were Kahanim Gedayla. What were you what did you do that you were zeicha to have 7 kids to become Kahanim Gedayla? Amr Lahem Miyamai Laro Kairis Basi Kale Sari. The roof, the ceiling of my house never saw the braids of hair. Right? So Amrullah, there's a lot to learn on this last line here. So Amrullah, Harbe also came below, and they told her, hey, many women cover their hair like that, and they don't have this, right? So what are you saying, right? Fine. So the first thing they bring from this is a raya that women should not shave their head, right? Because she had long braided hair. That's Ershton's, right? So that's a raya against the Chassidim to shave the head. But she said. Okay. She said, my hair, right? She shaved her head and she didn't have hair, right?
Well, what did they never see? They never saw her hair.
Right, so the roof never saw her hair. This, what do you call it? It's brought down in the Api Kabbalah. Oh, now he joined back on. We just said the most famous Gemara. Oh, you told him to? We missed you there. Anyway, so basically based on this Gemara, Api Kabbalah, they tell the women that you want to have good kids, you make sure that you never walk around the house with your hair uncovered. That's mamish. The Bir Halacha brings it. It's a Zoya also. Anyways, Sabi Kabbalah, that's whenever you see the women that they're kimchis, it's because of kimchis that they don't want to walk around the house with their hair uncovered. Oh, what about showering? So obviously it doesn't mean when you shower. It means that at all other situations, at all other times, you do like kimchis, and they said that the Gemara has that. Even though me'ikar adin, a woman does not have to cover her hair when she's walking around her house, and even in her yard. Even in the yard, me'ikar adin, a woman does not have to cover her hair unless there's people around.
There's actually a rabbi, I'm not gonna say his name, who says that in her house, the women don't have to cover their hair even in front of other women because a house is as if it. You heard such a thing?
Yeah, no, that's just correct. That is correct.
You can have someone who's not your husband come in the house, see the woman without her hair covered, and it's as if her hair is covered because it's in her house.
You just said other women. Now you said men. Make up your mind.
No.
So what's
why can't a woman see another woman's
hair?
hair?
It's nowadays. It. He didn't mean her or him.
Parents, how many lechaims did you have?
No, what?
Peretz identifies as a sober man, so it's okay.
You ever hear that crazy thing?
Yeah.
What? No, it's not so great. What? A woman to walk around her own house.
A woman doesn't have to cover her hair in her own house in front of another man besides her husband.
I've seen that.
So I'm taka. There are opinions that say that. Yes.
I've literally seen that.
So the Bir Halacha brings it in Siman Ayin Hey by Krishma, where he brings all these sugis. Right?
Which person is noig that way?
No, yeah. So we became noig not like that because of kimchis.
I thought a man is not allowed to. Why is it not considered? It's not air. All of a sudden, it's not erba.
So that's a big shaila. So the Mishnah Berurah says, even though in their own house they don't have to cover their hair, you're still not allowed to daven in front of it, which is a very interesting thing. But anyways, so what we're coming out from this, and that's where every seminary girl hears about this kimchis, cover your hair whenever you're around your house, cover your hair. It's based on this Gemara. But me'ikar adin, in your own house, you don't have to cover your hair. When there's men there, multiple men, it's for sure she has to cover her hair. When there's not multiple men, I'm not sure, because the Lashon in the Bir Halacha says like anoshim, it doesn't say a man. So it could be that from one man.
Is the difference one or multiple?
I don't know. I don't know. I know there are makilim.
Oh, then you have the problem with yichud, so it probably overrides all of that.
No, the husband could be there. But whatever, because of this ma'aseh with kimchis, that's why most women do not uncover their hair around the house. But what comes out is that if you want to really do kimchis, then even when you sleep, you gotta keep your head covered. I think. The only time not is when you shower. Okay, fine. Well, I guess we'll stop here. Tomorrow, 10 to 6. No, I'm sorry, that's 51 or 52, whatever. Yeah.
I thought we're talking about the
9 to
lace.
6.
I thought we're talking about the lace.
We are. So now, here's what I want to say. Mike. Here's my thought.
He wanted to
kidding.
get his for the whole share.
When I opened the magazine, I said, "What is craziness?"
Right, no, but I'll tell you like this. So, a woman should really only be wearing a fancy sheitel in the house for her husband. In the house, she doesn't really have to cover her hair in the first place. So for sure, a lace sheitel is okay. No, you don't like that.
Which magazine was this article in?
There's a full page ad in the Yated in the middle of the centerfold from the Yated from the Lakewood four Lakewood Rabbanim and the four Lakewood Yeshivas banning.
Ami also.
No. This one is from the Lakewood. This is from the Litvaks. Last one's from the Chassidim. This one the Litvak.
Now I see what I'm missing.
Oh, 1 second.
Now I see what I'm missing.
That's what happened now. The Litvish guys also came out against it?
Yes, all the Lakewood Yeshivas came out against it.
Why?
Maybe there's going to be a sale on those sheitlach.
Now you're talking.
You can only buy a clothes out here.
From Shiyakov, I told you this story once. If you want, if I told you the story once from Rabbi Kana's daughter. It's a Gavaldik, I don't know if you remember, it's a Gavaldik story. She went with her husband, they went to a friend in Yerushalayim, they went to a friend for Shabbos. So came Friday night when they retired to their sleeping quarters, she realized she didn't have a head to put her sheitel. So she went to Balabust and she said, "Do you have an extra head?" She said, "No, I don't, but I'll go to my neighbor next door." So they went next door to the neighbor and she knocks on the door. And then she realized her friend's Yerushalmi, who wears the black tichel, right? So she's asking for a sheitel head. So, but she already knocked on the door. It was already Friday night. She knocked on the door. So she said, "Do you have a sheitel head?" She says, "Yeah, I have one. I can give it to you." So she said, when do you use it?" She says, "I wear a sheitel in the house for my husband. The schwarze tichel I wear in the street for all the other men. My husband sees a very nice sheitel in the house."
With the lace or without a lace?
That's talking the way it should be.
It's a Gavaldik Maisa, no? To the
I heard that Maisa.
Rabbi Kana said it over many times.
Oh yeah, that's probably where I heard it from.
Yeah.
How's his son feeling?
A lot better than he was a few months ago, but he still has there's still problems.
I don't know why you have to ask them.
Reb Yaakov.
Yes.
In Rabbanah's classes, do they teach the first 3 words of this Maisa? Amru la chachamim, that the chachamim can speak to a woman?
Ah, very good. Very good.
And appreciate her answer?
Yeah.
Why is this the hot topic right now that's going to save Yiddish guys? What am I missing?
Maybe it says
I don't know.
that they went a few people together, so it wasn't one on.
We have so many other problems and issues. This is what they're busy with.
No, but I didn't hear the huck. What is it?
Dr. Zakaris,
okay,
good morning.
You know what? Hold on. I'll post it on the chat.
I'm not going to get it then.
Oh, I'll send it to you, Doctor. I'll send you your own.
Well, the Hasidim have a reason. A lot of them hold that it's Taka Asr. But the Lakewood Rabbanim just feel they're losing their monopoly on Yiddishkeit in Lakewood.
Think so? I don't know. Think so?
don't know.
Yeah.
Take out an
They have
ad
nothing
and
left.
Post your tweet.
Maybe they are sincere about it. I don't think we should be, saying that.
There's
It's
bigger,
Yaakov.
more important issues. It's,
How do you know that it's right against the Hasidim? Maybe she was mocked with the shave
It's not
her
my.
hair.
It's not my vote. It's not my vote.
No,
go
but I'm
ahead.
saying maybe she was mocked with the shave her hair. That's why the walls never
No, but
saw
she
it.
said about herself, the braids of my hair never saw.
Because
He's
she
saying
shaved it. Because she shaved it. They weren't it.
But then there's no kun. There's no kun.
I'm saying that's how they learn the Gemara.
Is that how they learn it? Is that how they learn it?
I have no idea. Maybe.
I hear.
Nah. Then they said back Harbe Osukach. There's no Harbe Osukach. Hasidim do it. Some Hasidim do it.
They don't give a reason. This is why people go off the derech.
Yaakov,
They gave no reason.
They got no reason. What a chutzpah.
Doesn't it have to be with what do you call it?
This is the reason why we missed Rabbi Gissinger. He would not tolerate this.
What's he gonna do? He wouldn't go against the Lakewood rabbis. Notice, by the way, are we parents? Can you kill the recording?
No, but it's Yaakov. Isn't the reason that they shave it because of the mikveh? They make sure
Yaakov, Kaz is going to be very upset when I hit the stop recording.
So hit another record for him.